I got a call off Conor McGregor then, do you want to spar? And then that was like, okay, well, I guess I'm back training again. And we started sparring.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
It's been 10 months. How has the last 10 months been for you? You know what I mean? Have you been eager?
Well, now you've just put it into perspective. I didn't know it was 10 months. I knew it was a minute, but 10 months. And I would say 10 months well spent, well earned rest, 3 tournaments back to back, 4 fights a year for the last three years. So it was nice to have a little bit of a break and, you know, travel a little bit. Had a few things I needed to take care of by property and a few things outside of fighting that needed sealing up because I've just had 0 time. I mean, you think of it that the season starts in April, it ends in end of November, December, and then you're back in again, preparing for the next one, so I've just had no time. So this year I've actually had time. Came out here Christmas Day, been training ever since, and as you can see, it's paying off big time.
Definitely. You know, you talked about taking care of stuff outside of fighting. How does that affect you now, you know, entering this season without, I guess, maybe that hovering over you or something?
Yeah, exactly. Freedom. Complete freedom now. Came to Thailand. Just been working on my craft again. Wealth of experience, over 50 fights under my belt now. I'm the most experienced in my weight. Got the most stoppages in my weight. And I'm the favourite, so let's go and get another belt.
Yeah. You know, that brings up something, you know what I mean? I expected you to come back much quicker, you know what I mean? Like, especially when they did the Bellator versus PFL super pay-per-view type card that they did. Well, were there any talks about that?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talks. I was supposed to fight PFL Dublin, then I was supposed to fight Saudi, and for whatever reason it didn't work out, but I'm glad it didn't. You know, I feel mentally ready now. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. Them cards just didn't work out at the time. This one has worked out. I've trained vigorously for Pedro Carvalho on April 19th, and I'm going to go and paint another picture like the artist that I am.
Pedro, man, he's one of the Bellator guys coming over for the tournament. You know, did you expect to be facing someone like him?
I didn't really know. I mean, it's 50-60% new roster, so it could have been absolutely anyone. I think Pedro's a good fight for me. Pedro's only ever lost to elite competition like myself. He's only lost to Pico and Pitbull and very elite fighters. He's beat Mads Burnell, he beat Daniel Weichel. He's got massive wins on his record, so have I. Should be a very exciting night.
Definitely exciting night. He brings it though, you know what I mean? He likes to talk as well, you know, so do you.
He's not scared of a fist fight, that's for sure.
No.
I genuinely believe he's got the best coach in the world in John Kavanagh. I really believe John is the elite of the elite when it comes to coaching. So I know they're going to come with a solid game plan. Yeah. John knows me well, I know him well, and I'll be prepared for it.
Is that kind of awkward for you?
Not at all. This is the fight game. John knows what it is, I know what it is. This is another prize fight. We're both going to get paid and feed our families, and it's no different than a soccer match in my eyes.
Definitely. And you know, you've been out here since Christmas time, and you were out here I think before that even, training for, you know, just training and learning, and you've pretty much assembled this like crew, this coaching staff out here that's pretty incredible, man. Just talk about them and how they have developed you, even not even just for this camp, but camps before this.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to give everyone a sick mention anyway, but now this is the perfect time. I'll go through it one by one. You've got George Hickman, the OG of Bangtao MMA. George is my boy. George has always been there for me. George was actually one of my main training partners with Bubba Jenkins when nobody was really around. George put his chimpanzee gloves on and got stuck in me, so I'm ever grateful for that. Frank Hickman is my boy through and through. We're boys with Frank for a number of years now. Again, when I fought Motley Lead in Vegas, he was one of the only guys around, picked me up every day, trained me vigorously. Eternal debt to Frank Hickman. Sammy Cassidy over at Southside, great pad work with him, been with him for a few years. The legendary John Hutchinson in John Boy. Then you've got obviously Alex, Woody, and all these other people around the gym. I'm spoiled with great energy, yes, great training, and eternally grateful to everyone at Tiger, Bangtao, Southside, Phuket Grappling Academy, Ben Royal. Don't let me forget Ben Royal, legend of a man. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, man, you have like like when you go to a shopping center and you have everything there, this is pretty much what you have in Phuket, right?
I've been coming to Phuket 12 years now. 2012 was my first time, and I've been coming every year since then. I feel like it's my home now. I'm actually going to view a property after this on the way home. That's my next step now in Phuket, because I know something about Phuket in the air, you know. It just makes you happy and makes me eternally grateful and happy to be able to. How is this a job? How have I just trained and then that's my job done for the day? I'm happy, and a dangerous fighter is a happy fighter.
Definitely. And you know, going back to the matchup with Pedro, man, how do you view the matchup? How do you see the matchup?
Pedro, tough, comes forward, southpaw to orthodox switches, good everywhere, fought nothing but elite competition. Great guy from what I hear, never met him. Great coaching staff. Listen, this is just another fight, another day in the office. No disrespect to Pedro, I'm not going to sit here and talk shit, I don't know the guy. I'll talk shit when it's due, but how can I talk shit about a man that's trying to feed his family and that comes from a great gym and puts it on the line every time? Pedro does not come to lie down, Pedro's in the mix. He's coming for a fight, so am I. April 19th, let's steal the show, Pedro, lad.
And you know, you've already won the season once, but what drives you, man? It seems like you know, like if you win something once, it's hard to, you know, chase after it twice, exactly the same thing. What motivates you to win it again?
This is the thing, right? Everyone keeps saying, Brendan, what's the motivation? What's the motivation? The motivation is I'm a prize fighter. This is my happiness. I feel happy when I'm training and I'm chasing a goal. This goal won't end till the PFL end. That's in November, December time. It won't end till then. So that's another year chasing something every day. Purpose, getting up, makes me happy. I had 6 months off. Oh, 10 months, sorry. 10 months. I had 10 months off, and I couldn't really find that happiness that fighting gives me. I thought, you've won the belt now, you got the money, just chill. Nah. The fire's burning more than ever. For some reason, I don't know why. Putting in more sessions than ever, weight's better than ever, camp's gone better than ever. It's like, the older I get, the more experience I get, then the more I know my body. The more I know Thailand and the coaches, the more the coaches get to know me, the more I can add. And I think, why stop now? Why are you just feeling in your prime? And the primes in MMA seem to get older. Like, you look at all the champions now, bar 1 or 2, they're all 30s, mid-30s. So, I mean, I genuinely feel like I'm in the best shape. Let's see on the 19th.
Yeah, we'll definitely see on the 19th, man. And it's an exciting prospect of having, like you said, like 60% of the roster has changed. And, you know, I think it's going to be a struggle for a lot of these dudes, man, that haven't been through the season, right?
I'm so glad you brought that point up as well. Good interviewer here, yeah? All these people that have just signed for the PFL, say your prayers now, because come semi-day, we'll see where you're really at on your third weight cut, carrying injuries from the other 2, yeah? Bruises, bumps, trying to do camps with bad arms and legs, and, you know, you're getting cuts and bruises, and then you're trying to spar for your next one. I've been through this. This is my 4th time. Barring Bubba Jenkins, I'm the most experienced guy in this thing. I'm born for tournaments. Let's see let's see all these Bellator guys that have come over. Let's see where you're at in September.
It's true, man. You know, I've been interviewing PFL guys for a while now, and whenever someone new comes in, I always ask them the same shit, like, yo, how are you gonna handle this, like, grinder? You're literally going through a grinder for the season.
Well, let's put it this way, yeah? You want to be a 2-time UFC champion or Bellator champion. Fight, 6 months, parade around with the belt. Have another fight, 6 months, parade around with the belt. PFL, 4 fights, win all 4. If you're lucky enough to get injured, not get injured. Then you win the belt, you have 2-3 weeks to yourself, and you're back another 4. So to be a 2-time champion, you have to win 8 fights consecutively. 2-time champion in the other organisations, win 1 fight, win another fight, win another fight. So you might call yourself a 5-time champion, but really that's 5 fights. PFL to be a 2-time champion is 8 fights. Just to put that in perspective how hard it is.
Yeah, definitely. Very hard. And, you know, I wanted to rewind a little bit to your last fight. You know, the last fight, you know, in your career, you've never been knocked out, you've never been finished. You know, some of the fights that you've lost have been controversial decisions, right? And, you know, coming off of a knockout loss, how was your mind?
Well, it wasn't just a knockout loss, it was a knockout loss. I got knocked out, and it took me a while. It took me about 4 months to process it. Like, shit, did that actually happen? I always thought to myself, what would it look like when you actually watch it back on YouTube, like you're getting knocked out? And I was like, oh, it's not that bad. Now I can truly say that I've experienced every part of the fight game. I've been knocked out, I've knocked people out, and I've got a saying that you stay in the shower long enough, you're gonna get wet. And I stayed in the shower long, and I got wet. But am I bothered about it? No. I'm about to show people that you can come back from adversity, get knocked out, and come back and get your knockouts. I mean, I'm on my 15th knockout now. That means I've knocked out 15 people and been knocked out once, so I like my odds.
Yeah, those are pretty good odds. But physically, was there any like struggles you had physically, or was it just like the protocol, you went through everything with the doctors and all that stuff?
Yeah, not even. Didn't really go through anything. I just took some time to myself. And if I'm truly honest with everybody here and myself, I was ready to get knocked out, like in a way that I didn't want to go through the whole year again. I'd just done 3 back-to-back, and I was like, I didn't see my family, my friends for 3 years. I was going from Thailand to the US, training, fighting, nothing but an opponent on my mind for 3 years, weight cutting 3 years, like injuries, staph infections. You know, even when I won the belt, I went home for like 2 weeks, and that was me back in camp. It was like my body was like, bro, give us a rest, give us a rest, give us a rest. And then, did I want it to happen that way? Absolutely not. But it happened that way. I took my sign. That was my sign to take some time off. Took the adequate time off for somebody that's been knocked out. And then obviously, I got a call off Conor McGregor then, do you want to spar? And then that was like, okay, well, I guess I'm back training again. We started sparring. Took a few backhands off Conor McGregor. I thought, okay, the chin's all right then, clearly. Nothing like a McGregor backhand to check if your chin still works. So the chin was still working, and here we are now.
Yeah, how was that? How was getting the call from McGregor? And like you said, you know John Kavanagh, so it's not like the team is alien to you, you know what I mean? So what was that? How was those days? And was it in Dubai?
Yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. It was an absolute honour and a privilege. What a great guy. Really enjoyed my time with him. It was over the course of about 6 weeks, month, something like that. Trained 2-3 times a week, 4 times a week sometimes, mostly sparring. A lot of camaraderie, great guy. I really enjoyed my time with him, clean work. And I really hope that we get to do it again after this fight. Obviously, I know now we're fighting Pedro and John. It's not ideal timing, but me and John will sink a few Guinness after the fight and have a chat about that one.
For sure, for sure. What do you think of Conor coming back, man? From you know how he looks. You sparred him. So, you know, a lot of people have doubts about him.
I think that man can do absolutely anything he wants. Yeah. That guy's an absolute different level. Looked up to him my whole life and my career, so to actually be in there with him, it was great. It was crazy because when he fought Aldo, I remember like, this is a true story. I remember watching that fight thinking, me and him are the same guy, we're going to be mates one day. And like, no, like, you know, you just know. And even when I met him, I was like, nice to finally meet. He was like, we've not met before. Like, it was one of them. It was literally one of them. Like, even when I won the belt, he sent out a really nice tweet. I don't know if you've seen it. It was like, UFC need to sign Brendan now. You know, he's got a great backstory, and then tagged the UFC. And I never met him at that point, you know what I mean? So we've always had that respect. So to share the ring was great. And we're still staying in touch now. And hopefully after this fight, like I say, he makes a comeback. I'll be training for my next one anyway, and we can cross paths again.
Going back to what you said earlier about like the knockout, and you know, there's an aspect of fighters. Some of them have it, some of them don't, which is the fearlessness of, you know, like the result. You know what I mean? Not worrying about winning or losing, but going out there and trying to find the best performance and not being afraid to go do what you want to do. How important is that for a fighter, you know, in general, like as a foundation?
You know what it is with me? Like when the door locks and there's a guy stood in between, it's primal to me. Like, as soon as that ref says go, I don't give a fuck what kind of training camp I've had, what's going on outside of fighting. I'm fighting that man, and I'll find a way to beat that man. And I always have, majority of the time. Sometimes I've come on short, 5 times in over 50 fights I've come on short, but it's not a bad record. So, I mean, I've been a winner my whole life. I've always found a way to win, and April 19th will be absolutely no different.
And also, you know, the PFL bringing in the Bellator fighters, another question about that is, you know, like, some of them have name recognition, right? Some of them do. And some of the guys in PFL, they don't really have the recognition, but I feel like the skill level is probably about the same. What do you think?
Agreed. I mean, listen, let me just touch on something here. They did that PFL versus Bellator thing, but like 4 of them are not even champions that fought from the PFL side. And everyone's like, yeah, we told you Bellator were better. Like, for one, the heavyweight didn't fight. Sorry, the heavyweight won. That was probably the best guy pound for pound in the PFL right now, heading for Hyon. And then Albert Mercier retired, so retired. He didn't fight. Pinedo, who beat me and beat Bubba and beat everyone comfortably, didn't fight. So, you know, the elite guys didn't even fight, and I think it would have been very different stories. I think Pinedo beats Pitbull. I think a lot of their matchups will be very different. Not taking away from Bellator. Bellator's extremely high level. But this year we're really going to see these Bellator PFL matchups and see where everyone's at. It's exciting.
Yeah, it brings a new new spin to it,
for
right?
Sure.
I'm pretty sure you're excited about that as well. You know?
I mean, there's only 2 guys that I know in this one. Me, Braga and Bubba. Braga and Bubba are the only 2 guys that I actually know. The rest are just like people have come over from Bellator, and I don't really know any of them. Not really seen any of them fight. Never been around them. Never seen the height, weight. You know, like you kind of get used to people at PFL. But now it's all brand new again. But again, coming over to our world, guys. Yeah, welcome to the tournament.
Yeah, not many of them have come over and done well, to be honest with you. Not
or
many.
UFC.
Yeah.
You know, you name all the UFC guys. I can name about 5 that I'm not going to, but I can name about 5 that have came over and found it extremely difficult. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Very difficult over at PFL. And you know, when I won that belt and like the recognition I got off the people like Conor, Tyson Furies, and people, real fighters, you know, like Pettis and loads of people that message me, I think they're the people I want recognition of, not eggs on Twitter. Like, they know how hard it is, bro. I went through the absolute meat grinder. I'm out of 10 guys, elite guys, I was the winner. I went through it. I was the mentally toughest. I won that shit. So, like, sometimes I pat myself on the back and think, fucking hell, how did you do that? And the thought of going back in this year was absolutely terrifying. But I believe in life, sometimes you got to find the hardest thing you can physically do and just fucking go for it. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, man. The story that you have created, the path you have created, and the key word is created. You've created this path for yourself and accomplished a lot already. And now it's like the next level, right? Where they introduce a new promotion. It's like, hey, I won it without them. Now we're gonna win it with them, right?
Yeah, I don't know what this next chapter holds. I'll be honest. But when I won that belt, I put it on my mum's mantelpiece. I see my mum and my family sat ringside at Madison Square Garden. Anything after this for me now is a bonus.
How good does the Bellator belt look?
Great, but I don't know what they're going to do with that. I don't know how all that's going to work. I don't know what's going on. It seems a bit up in the air at the minute because obviously I noticed that Kennedy and Pico and all them are staying in Bellator. So who knows how this thing's going to play out, but I'm excited to see it. I'm really glad Saudi are involved now, and you know, a lot more people are coming over. We've had a nice big injection at the PFL, so we're seeing things rise in PFL Europe now. Doumbé and all these guys coming in, Jake Paul and Ngannou. I mean, when I came here, there was nothing. I signed when it was the Origins. So
you're an OG.
I'm a PFL OG, and I'm about to show everyone an OG.
What'd you think of the Anthony Joshua Francis Ngannou fight? Man, that was insane, right?
Yeah, I mean, I felt sorry. I did feel sorry for him, did you? Like, what a punch that was from Anthony Joshua. He's showing him what real boxing was. But Francis Ngannou, man, what a story. What a representation for sport and hard work. And what a role model for everybody.
He is, man. But yeah, it showed you, like, boxing, there's
levels.
There's levels to boxing, just like there's levels to MMA, right? But yeah, that's fucking insane. Yeah, man, I'm excited to see you back in action, man. It's been 10 months of development, which is the most exciting part, man. And we'll see what happens.